Well, hey there, everybody. Rhonda Boyle. I'm back here with Anas Aldahoud, and we're talking about the talent theme of consistency. Anas, let's talk about some trouble spots, blind spots, and so forth with this talent.
I'm just going to start with the difference between mature and immature side is basically the difference between fairness and equality. So the more mature you are, the more you are leaning toward fairness for everybody. I love that picture with like three people with different heights, and the person get them the exact same box for them to be able to see over the world. And this is exactly the difference between fairness and equality. But because the shorter person, you should get him the bigger box. And I believe people with consistency, they understand the difference and lean toward more of fairness than equality. I think this is the only thing they need, if it exists, of course. This is the only thing they need to work about. So the more immature it is, imagine you're a manager, for example, and you're managing a big team. Sometimes you might care about the team performance and forget about the individual needs and sitting individually with each person. And I think one of the downside of connectedness, with consistency, is actually you lose that individualization side. So all the good things that we mentioned in that individualization video, you actually get to lose all of that side. And I think sometimes you are hard in giving reward and recognition to people. So if you're working with someone with high significance, that might be a problem. Sometimes they are not good with words. And you put system before relationship, and that can create a lot of conflicts as well.
Yes, I really like the way you mentioned that they sometimes lose that individualization. They don't notice the uniqueness. It's definitely a blind spot. They're more focused on the rules because they're trying to seek justice, and sometimes they become unjust to someone because they don't consider their uniqueness. And so that can definitely be a big issue. Let's talk about aggravators and things that really annoy them. And the first one, I think, is no rules really annoy them. Wouldn't you say?
I would, Rhonda, if they work in a place where there is no system in place, no SOPs, no rules, this is something that really, really aggravates them. But I think there is maybe I'm wrong, but I believe the biggest one for them is VIP treatment. When they see someone getting VIP treatment, cutting in front of lines, getting like the special treatment in airports, I really believe this, and this brings exceptions as well. When they see people making some exceptions to people about maybe not doing their work, I think this really aggravates them.
Yes, it sure does. And I'll tell you also, as we move into potential conflicts, if there are rule breakers, people who are consistently breaking the rules, that becomes a real big problem, don't you think?
Rhonda, guess who I put as the external potential conflict? I put people with the high influencer domain. Because think about it, people with high influencing domain, they love freedom. They love to break rules. They actually intentionally sometimes want to break rules. And if you look at all the strength within this domain, it's basically strength that you just don't want. The more autonomy you have, the more happy you are. So I believe that the biggest external conflict between consistency is people with high influencing.
Yes, and I'm thinking, potential conflicts with other people are going to be with those people who, A, break the rules, or the people who want to customize the rules, which again is going to be those people high in individualization. So you can really pretty much look around the table, and the people that irritate you the most are probably higher than you in individualization. And that's their drive, is to make sure that everything is, set perfectly for the person that they're working with. So yeah, just being aware of that, I think, is very helpful.
100%, Rhonda.
Yeah, I have a quick story I'd love to share. I was working with a team, and they were part of a furniture store, and the person who needed the rules followed needed all that done in order for the delivery to run smoothly. But the salesperson was high in individualization and kept customizing everything, and then it messed all the codes up. So what they were able to do when they finally realized that this was not a war between them, it was just a way of, they weren't able to see, they were able to put in a new coding system that allowed them to customize, and then that drew the consistency person's attention to the box of little changes, and then they were able to deal with it because they could find it and fix it.
I love this story, Randa, and this, again, I cannot insist enough on the power of people with high consistency working with people with high individualizations to create systems together.
Yeah.
I think this can be amazing for organizations, and I love the story because it really shows you the one side of the story and the other side. So, and again, as you said, it's not a war. At the end, they are working to sell a product, and it's good for him and for because without the production, the person cannot sell anything. And without someone selling, then there will technically no production. So
exactly. So yeah, it allows you to become solution oriented when you work with those people who most annoy you. Don't you think? All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of that. And we will be back with our final segment on the talent theme of consistency. Anas, we'll see you then.